We finally know where the first SNS Axis is going, but it's not where you think. Axis is going to a Transformers-themed FEC in Saudi Arabia.
That does not exist yet.
What? This all came as of news in an article that was just released on Blue Loop. Basically, it describes how they have plans to kind of beef up that country. Obviously, we know that the new Six Flags park is on its way, so this is a separate group that's planning on putting in 3 different centers, all focused on Transformers, but they're planning on doing a total, I believe, 21 centers across the country, but these are going to be the only Transformers ones. And we have some concept art showcasing a couple different rides, like you see Zamperla Nebula's in there. Where the Axis comes in is in the background of this one shot where the track doesn't look anything that interesting, but if you look at the vehicles, those are Axis trains.
Yes, so you kind of have to put on your like detective goggles or whatever and to figure that out. Funny enough, he sent me this article and I'm like, oh, okay, like cool. And he's like, keep looking. And I'm like, okay. And then I like zoomed in on the roller coaster. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So like if you weren't looking for it, you might not have even noticed.
And I know when it comes to concept art that you have to take everything with like a grain of salt because that's all it is it's concept art and things are subject to change. But here's what I keep coming back to is there is no way that the artist of this shot right here would go through the effort of creating Axis trains if that is not what the trains were going to look like. Like, we've seen how, like, plenty of concept art just to have, like, standard, like, run-of-the-mill roller coaster trains. But this was very intentionally done.
Based off of this little snippet of an image, do you think it looks like the layout that was presented at IAAPA?
No, I think this is going to be completely custom, especially since it's going to be indoors. They have height limits that they have to work with. We know from IAAPA they said that their initial plan is that this will have a lift hill, it'll load inverted and then bring people up. It could have a vertical lift hill, but ultimately it's obviously up to the customer to decide what they want. We can see that there's at least going to be one inversion right here, but outside of that, we don't really know much about it, besides that it'll be themed Transformers.
I didn't even know that Transformers were that popular anywhere, let alone in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I didn't know that it could support its own theme park, so I have no idea how this is going to go, but I guess in Saudi Arabia they think it's going to be successful because they're planning on building 3 of them.
Why are they not doing like a park themed around their board games? I'm sorry, Hasbro has great board games. They should totally do that. I did read that they're going to do something with Play-Doh though. Could you imagine like a dark ride where everything like looked like it was made out of Play-Doh? Oh my gosh. So cool. I'm sorry.
I was more thinking like a ball pit, but with Play-Doh.
That would be so disgusting, Tim.
I don't know.
So I personally think that the Axis coaster definitely like sold itself at IAAPA, like the way that it looked. Like there was never not a crowd around it, like checking out the ride.
Oh, absolutely. They were probably the most popular booth at IAAPA in 2021.
Yeah, and they brought it back again this past year.
Yeah, absolutely.
First of all, I'm shocked that it's taken this long for one to get announced, because I think it's like an incredible idea.
I think COVID really set it back, because they debuted this really at the worst time. It was November 2019, and then COVID hits a couple months later.
Well, I also was very confident that it was going to be a Six Flags park to bite first, but then the new change of management and just...
Well, yeah, because if you look at what Salim Basul is doing, he's like, no big thrill rides.
No, we don't
families
spend money
only.
like that.
So I don't know if we're going to see any big new thrill rides at Six Flags within the next couple of years. I hope that changes, but yeah, it's tough to say.
So do you think that this will be a big stepping stone for SNS to get that product out on the market? Or do you think the fact that it's so far removed from most of the themed entertainment industry that it won't really change things too much for them?
I think they're just excited to get this thing off the ground. I mean, they've been dying to sell one of these things.
Yeah.
And we as audiences have been dying to ride one. Yeah, it's obviously like stinks for people in the United States that it's going like so far away.
But good for the Saudi Arabian people?
Yes, absolutely. I don't know how many enthusiasts are out there from Saudi Arabia, but maybe some from like the Emirates, short flight away.
I have a friend from Saudi Arabia. I do. And
he could be the first rider.
He should be.
At least when it's finally open, they'll be able to say, hey, look, we have this ride out there. It's very popular with our audiences. They can work out all the different bugs. And then if there's another customer that was looking to invest in Axis, they could say, hey, if you want to experience one, at least we have one.
Fly to Saudi Arabia.
But at least there's one out there that they could experience. I mean, I know that they have the Axis prototype at their factory. I think they're going to be taking that down soon, though. So, I mean, like, it's been up there for a couple of years, but that was just a little model. This is going to be a full-fledged roller coaster experience. And if it's themed to Transformers, like, I mean, this concept art looks pretty well themed. Like, this could be a story-driven attraction. And in this article, we don't really get a whole lot of information. We don't even get an opening date. We know that they plan on doing all this before 2030, and that the first one will be going in Riyadh, which is where Six Flags Qiddiya is. So if you're one of those people that wants to go ride Falcon's Flight, by the time that thing opens, there'll probably be an Access also nearby. So in theory, you could do both in the same trip.
That whole area is gonna end up being just like a roller coaster hotspot, like,
which is crazy because they currently have like nothing of interest.
I think it's interesting, like, to see what the reception of like the Saudi Arabian people will be, going from no big theme parks to like, here's a whole array of like crazy, unique roller coaster experiences.
But if you remember, this is exactly in line with what they were hoping for when they were doing Six Flags Qiddiya. They were trying to turn this area into like a worldwide destination. That's why they wanted to make a theme park that was just gonna be absolutely insane. And so this is like pretty accurate to their hoping that people just flock from all over, that they can open up to just international audiences. So this is really gonna be a place that we're gonna have to stay tuned and watch. Like maybe we'll get an actual like formal announcement from this company with like lots of different details. Because right now this is just kind of like breaking the ice. So it's like, whoa, this is happening, where prior to this, we didn't even know this was in the works at all. So maybe we'll actually get some like details about like, okay, here's the different attractions going to here, here, and here. Because right now we technically don't even know which of these FECs are going to be getting the Access coaster. I would assume the one in Riyadh. But frankly, if they wanted to, they could put an Access at each of them. Like just do carbon copy. Each of the FECs are like exactly the same. Why not? You could. So let us know down in the comments below what you think of this news. I hope you enjoy this one, and we'll see you next time here at Coaster Studios.